gonna add some oil. Now, vegetable oil is cheaper and it doesn't smoke, so if it gets really, really hot, it doesn't start making nasty, nasty smells and nasty flavors. But sesame oil has better flavor, so we're going to use a little bit of sesame oil and a little bit of vegetable oil. Probably 1 spoonful of this for every 3 spoonfuls of this. And I'm just going to eyeball it. You can always add more oil. And maybe a little bit more. So we want to start with a stir fry. I'm going to wait for that to get hot. The oil's hot. The first thing we're going to add is the ginger. Just going to get that in there. Ginger can cook to death. I've got a little piece of garlic in there. Doesn't really matter, but it'll eventually burn if we keep it in there that long. After the ginger, we're going to add the pork. Right now we're browning stuff, we're cooking stuff really on a high heat level, and the pork is starting to get a little color on it. And we want to do this first because once we add other stuff, there won't be enough heat coming out to brown things. So the things that we need to brown, like the garlic, which will be next, and the pork, we want to do fairly early. We do the ginger first because it can be cooked forever, and you want to get its flavor into the pan as early as possible so that it has a chance to seep in. Everything is nice and brown now. Not too much is burned. A few things have burned, and you can kind of fish them out and clean them up later. So we're going to add the pepper to get some of the spiciness in. And the really hot pepper was at the bottom. I'm not going to add all of that. And then the white bits of the cabbage. Now these white bits have a lot of water in them, so they're going to give off water and make a sauce. They're going to completely stop our stir fry. But we want to try and get them as cooked as possible in the high heat. We're going to add the bean sprouts. We want these to be a little crisp, so we're not going to add them too early, or they'll just go to completely limp. Seafood. Again, we don't want to overcook our seafood because, like, squid ends up being really chewy if you overcook it a little bit. I'm going to add the white parts of the onion and any garlic we have left, and then I'm going to add the green stuff, the green leafy stuff. Now the green leafy stuff will cook down a lot, so we just need to cover it in things, and these pieces should basically disappear. I've had to turn the heat up all the way just to get any real cooking action, because right now we have so much water in the pan from all the vegetables that the heat is just being absorbed by the water and it's slowly steaming away. But the seafood is now cooked, so we're going to start adding salt and the spices and the onions at the last bit. Now I have a good gauge of how much fish sauce to add. It takes a fair amount, but I want to go a little bit less than the amount of fish sauce it needs because it has so much salt. If we add too much, then it won't taste good. It'll taste too salty. I'm going to add a little bit of this curry mix that I made. It's mainly cumin, coriander, a little bit of cardomon, and cinnamon. I don't need all of it. We're going to add the aromatics, the basil and the cilantro. And they're aromatics, so the longer we cook them, the less flavor they have. We just want to get them cooked. And the green onions, which are just really there for color. Alright, I've turned the heat off because we don't want the egg to cook just yet. This is hot, so I'm going to grab its sides and Just dump it all in there. And then we want to mix it in, which will take some time. Alright, so it's mostly mixed, and it's fairly cool. So now we're going to add the egg, because we're going to have to mix the egg in. And we're going to break them, and then we're going to stir the egg in. And again, we just want to try and get all the white pieces completely mixed, and we want to get every bit coated in a little bit of egg. Okay. Egg. I'm sorry. And now we have to cook the egg. So we're going to turn the heat back on, and we're going to pat this down as good as we can so that it's solid. If it's solid, then the heat will go from the bottom up to the top and cook all of the egg. If it's loose, then the heat will go to the bottom and heat up the bottom, and then things will start to burn before the heat goes all the way to the top. Alright, you can hear that the egg is cooking, but the egg on top is still not cooked. So what we want to do is we want to quickly turn this over before it burns on the bottom. And as you can see, it's gotten a little crispy on the bottom, but it's not black, so it's fine. We just want to scoop down and get, I'm sorry, and get everything off the bottom and flip it over, and then pat it down again. I'll clean that up, don't worry. Alright, now here we are, we've stirred it and it's ready to eat. It's steamy, it's fragrant, it's gonna be delicious.